If you are starting a business and social media feels confusing, awkward, or pointless, then this video is for you. If you know that you're supposed to post, but you don't know what to say, how often to say it, or how it's actually supposed to lead to clients, you are not alone. And the problem is not that you're bad at content, it's that most people are told to post without understanding what people actually need in order to buy from you and stick around. Because people don't wake up, find your page, and immediately hire you. Okay, maybe a couple people, couple options do, but that is not the norm. They need a few very specific things from your content first. And once you understand what that looks like and what that is, then planning your content gets a lot easier. So in this video, I am going to show you how to plan your first month of social media in a way that feels clear and human and aligned instead of random or salesy or cheesy. Okay, I can't promise there's not some cheese going on in there. But we're not going to come up with a 90-day plan. We're not going to post every day unless you want to. And we're not going to pretend that social media is your entire business. This is going to be just a simple way to plan content that actually makes sense. Okay, so step one is to anchor everything into one offer. Before you plan your content, you need to know what you're leading people towards. For your first month, I want you to choose one clear offer. I know that you're probably like me and you have a bunch of offers, but we have one thing that we want to send people to. Not 10 things, not everything that you could possibly do, just one offer. The reason for this, the reason we're anchoring into one offer is because it's hard to measure something when you have so many things going on. And on top of that, people get confused and there's so much noise out there. We need to be able to prioritize that one thing so that that noise is not overwhelming your target person, your person you want to bring into your world. So let's anchor everything into one offer. And the thing with with anchoring into this one offer, it means that you know everything you're doing is strategically aligned with where you're trying to go and the goals that you're trying to reach. And the cool thing is, if you know who you're talking to, what you're talking about, your content doesn't actually need to change too much when you change your offer later. As long as you're still talking to the same people and trying to help the same way. So, step two is to understand the buyer cycle a little bit. I don't really like to just fully go in 100% to everything that is traditionally taught in marketing because it doesn't always work the way that we want it to in the 21st century. And as a woman, it's just not the same. But the buyer cycle is kind of just something to help you understand what you need to talk about in your content. So there's 3 parts, and this is my refreshed version of the buyer cycle. And there's a bunch of people out there, and you can believe whatever you want, but this is what I see, right? So the first part of the cycle is that you're bringing people into your world. This is where someone is deciding if they like how you think, if this space is for them. This is the start of this cycle, or you could see it as a funnel, and it gets a little confusing with funnel versus cycle, but let's just stick with cycle for now. So this is where everyone is making decisions on if they like you, if they want to be in your space, if they want to be in your world, right? From that, this is not about selling necessarily. This part is about connection. This is things that could look like education or stories or opinions, maybe some behind the scenes, or talking about the problems that people have in a real way. So this is the start of this cycle. And then from there, The next piece of the cycle is letting people know how they can work with you. So this is where they're going to start deciding if they want to buy from you, right? So people can't hire you if they don't understand what you offer. But it doesn't mean that you have to list everything, right? We talked about focusing and anchoring into one thing right now. So picking one, maybe two low entry points, ways for people to say, yes, I'm deciding to buy with her and be with her and be in her world. That is the next piece of this cycle. And then the third piece is to give people a reason to stay. So they've entered your world, they've bought some stuff. Now you want to keep them in this cycle, right? So from there, it would go, so they're in your world, they bought something, thinking about buying something, then they want to stay in your world, right? So that way they can repeat this cycle again when you have new offers or new things or anything like that. So I have this hard time because I don't like to see people as just like numbers and leads in a funnel or a cycle. I like to know that I'm giving them something helpful, right? I like to know that I'm being ethical with my noise out in the world. And so for me, it's hard also to stick in this cycle and funnel business because it feels like we're just like putting cattle into this space. But the reality is, if your intention is to help, to offer something, not be filled with pressure or fake sales tactics, then you can feel good about understanding this cycle. So going back, the third thing is to give people a reason to stay. And a lot of people kind of skip this step, but once someone finds you, they understand your offer, they buy it, they still need a reason to stay in your world so that they can maybe buy from you again or support you in other ways, tell their friends, etc. And so you need to build that trust. So this is opinions and consistency, wins and losses. This is how you show up over time. And this is what turns followers or one-time buyers into people who stick around. So let me just go through that really quick. So this is the cycle of understanding that you need to know in order to create content that matters and is aligned, right? So the first thing is we need to create some content around bringing people into your world. Then we need to create some content about how they work with you, how they can work with you. And then the third thing that you need to create is giving people a reason to stay. So we have 3 different things in this cycle funnel of content that you need to create. Okay, so that was step number 2 of creating content, right? So step 3 is planning content around those 3 needs, right? So in your first month, a simple ratio would be about half of your content should bring people into your world. Honestly, if you are just starting out, this is like your first month ever, you should probably do more like 75% of your content is bringing people into your world. And then the next like third of that should be about your offers, how they can work with you. And then the last like third or less, like a quarter, should be about building the trust and that behind the scenes and those kinds of things. So again, this is not because people are numbers. People are arriving at different times and they need different things from you. So that is why you need to kind of have a little bit of everything. So the fourth step to planning out your content plan for the month is to choose a realistic posting rhythm. So you don't need to post every day, 3 to 4 posts per week. If you need someone to tell you exactly how many, I can't tell you because it's going to depend on you, right? And your time. But 3 to 4 posts per week is more than enough for your first month. And it's because consistency matters more than frequency, right? So picking your realistic posting rhythm. Step 5 is to plan around your real life. So I'm a mom, I'm a default parent by that's what works for our family due to my husband's work schedule. And so I have to plan around real life, work hours, snow days, kids' appointments, my energy, how I show up. So if posting on certain days feels too heavy for you, don't post on those days. If it feels like you're pulling teeth and this is so difficult, maybe we need to reevaluate, right? Because sustainability is part of your marketing strategy. It's something you need to be able to keep up with. So don't be like, I'm going to post 10 times a week, but you have work and kids and appointments and you just can't do that. So plan around your real life. Take a deep dive into what you actually could do. And then step 6 is to keep the first month messy on purpose. Your first month here, this month, and honestly, even if it's not your first month, it's your 6th month and you're still just kind of figuring it out, keep it messy. It doesn't matter. Show up as a human. In the world of AI, which we're all using, showing up in a way that is real is so much more important, right? Your first month of consistent social media is about learning, paying attention to what feels easy to talk about, what people are responding to, what questions keep coming up. This is a little bit like market research at the same time. You're allowed to repeat yourself. Please know that. You can say the same thing over and over and over again. That is the point of branding. And you are allowed to adjust. You're allowed to change your opinion. You're allowed to be a human being because clarity is coming from doing, right? We can think, we can plan, but if you haven't done it, it's hard to fully hone in on what you should be doing. So no more overthinking. We're going to let clarity come from action. Okay. So I'm going to simplify this all in one thing. If you are planning your social media for the month, you need one offer. Your content should be built around what people actually need. 3 to 4 posts per week, planned around your real life. And that is it. That is how you plan your first month of social media content without burning out or feeling salesy. And in my next video, most likely, I'm going to walk you through a real example of what this would look like using a service-based business so that you can see exactly how this works. And if you want my step-by-step guide that helps you turn content into actual clients, my 30-day checklist to get your first client is linked below. There's one clear action a day, no overthinking, just momentum, and you don't have to manipulate people. You can just show up clearly and consistently. See you next time.